If you watched the first two videos in this series, you probably had one of two reactions. Either, that's not us, we're fine, or that is us, but we can't afford to fix it. This video is for the second group. The ones who saw the problem and thought, wow, that's a big company solution. We're a 50 million euro manufacturer with 200 people. We don't have a data team. We don't have the budget. That's not our world. Here's what I want to tell you. You were right. Until very recently, you were absolutely right. Now let me show you what business intelligence used to look like for a company your size. You'd get a call from a consulting firm. Nice presentation, impressive case studies, beautiful demo dashboards. Then you'd ask about timelines and cost. Well, 6 months of discovery, 6 to 12 months of building. By the time you saw anything usable, you were 18 months in and 250 to 400,000 euros lighter. And that was just the implementation. Then came the ongoing costs, licensing fees, server infrastructure, the BI specialist you had to hire to keep it all running, another 125 to 175,000 every year. And what did you get for that? In most cases, dashboard that looks impressive in the demo, but that your sales director opened once and never touched again. Your CFO still built her own spreadsheets when a board meeting was coming. The system works, technically, but nobody used it. That wasn't a freak outcome, that was the standard outcome. Research shows only 20% of BI projects deliver their intended value. For mid-sized companies, even less. 90% of mid-market companies never even tried. And honestly, they probably made the right call. The economics just didn't work. The math didn't work, and most of them knew it. If you're running a mid-sized company, 20 million, 100 million, 500 million in revenue, and you have always assumed that real business intelligence is for Siemens and BMW, not for you, stay with me for the next few minutes, because something has dramatically changed, and most business leaders haven't caught up with it yet. Between 2024 and 2026, 4 things happened. Not one at a time, all at once. And together, they changed the economics of business intelligence more dramatically than anything I've seen in 35 years. First, while the old platforms are dying, IBM Cognos, SAP Business Objects, ClickView, the tools that defined BI for 20 years are being sunset. Updates have stopped. The specialists who knew these platforms inside out are retiring. If you're still running on one of these, you are not deciding whether to move. You are deciding whether to move on your terms or when something breaks. Second, a new generation of platforms arrived and they changed the cost structure completely. What used to require 6-figure licensing fees now costs 10 to 20 euros per user per month. Not a stripped-down version, full capability. And they integrate with Microsoft environment most mid-sized companies already use. You don't need to rip out what you have, you build on top of it. Third, AI crossed a threshold. Not the AI that writes your emails and generates marketing copy, a different kind of AI. AI that can design data architectures, build data pipelines, generate transformation logic, spot patterns in your data that would take a human analyst months. Tasks that used to require a team of 4 specialized roles, data architect, backend engineer, dashboard designer, front-end developer, working for 6 months can now be done by a smaller team in weeks, often even with better results. Because the AI has been trained on thousands of implementations. It already knows the common patterns, the typical pitfalls, the architecture decisions that work for companies your size. That knowledge used to live in the heads of expensive consultants. Now, it's embedded in the tools. And fourth, cloud infrastructure eliminated the hardware barrier. No servers to buy, no IT department managing your BI environment, scalable, accessible, pay for what you use. The infrastructure that used to cost 6 figures and months to set up is now available for a monthly subscription. Now, put those 4 things together. All platforms dying, new platforms affordable, AI compressing timelines, cloud removing infrastructure barriers. What used to cost 250,000 to 400,000 euros and take 6 to 18 months can now happen in weeks. Not a stripped down version, not a compromise, the real thing for a fraction what it used to cost. I've been doing this for 35 years, and I watched the BI industry evolve from mainframes to data warehouses to cloud platforms. I've never seen a shift this sudden. The barrier that kept mid-sized companies out didn't lower gradually. It collapsed. So, what does this actually look like for a company your size? Forget everything you've heard about BI projects. Forget 18 months timeline, the army of consultants, the massive infrastructure build. Here is how companies are approaching this now. You start with a question. Not let's build a BI system, a business question. Where are we losing margin? Why are customers leaving? Which products are actually profitable? Which salespeople need help? And which ones are carrying the team? You take one data set, one you already have, sitting in your ERP or your CRM system right now, and you get it analyzed. Not by building a system, by having someone who knows what to look for and who can turn data into answers. The timeline? Weeks, not months. 2 to 4 weeks to go from raw data to insights you can act on. The cost? Tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands. A fraction what a single bad decision costs you, the kind of decisions we talked about in the last video. And here's what matters most. You see result before you commit to do anything bigger. You don't bet 400,000 on a hope. You start small. You see what your data actually tells you. And then you decide whether to go further or not. And that's the shift. Not just cheaper technology. A completely different way of starting. Question first, answers fast. Decide based on evidence, not a vendor's demo. This is the third video in this series. In the first, I show you profit hiding in your data that nobody can see. In the second, the decisions being made on gut feel because the right information isn't in the room. And this one, the barrier that kept you from solving this has collapsed. If you've been telling yourself, someday when we are bigger, someday when we have the budget, someday when timing is right, that someday is now. The economics have changed, the technology has changed. The question isn't whether you can afford it, it's how much longer you can afford to wait. In the next video, I'll talk to the people who actually tried BI and it didn't work. Dashboards nobody uses, projects that went nowhere. Money spent with nothing to show for it. I'll show you what went wrong and what to do differently. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Links to everything I mentioned are in the description. My name is Feliks Golenko. I spent 35 years helping mid-sized companies turn their data into profit. And I'll see you in the next one.